So Carlsbad's one of the cities I always recommend, and it's funny because some people I talk to don't even know about it. But once I show them the beaches, all the different neighborhoods, and what you get for your money out here, a lot of times it ends up at the top of their list. Hey guys, my name's Nenad, and I'm a top 15% agent in San Diego, and I've helped lots of people buy and sell homes here. So if you have any questions, you can give me a call or just send me an email or text me. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull up the map here and I can show you exactly where Carlsbad's at. So it's basically right at the top of North County, San Diego, and there's only one city above it, which is Oceanside. And over on the east side, there's Vista and San Marcos, and down over here on the south end, this is going to be Encinitas. And obviously we've got the ocean all along the west side, which you actually get just about 6.5 miles of coastline. Also, Carlsbad's a lot bigger than most people realize, so they have 4 different zip codes here, and it's the 5th biggest population in San Diego, right behind Escondido and Oceanside. Okay, so people always ask me about the beaches, and I gotta say some of my favorite ones are in Carlsbad. They're all super family friendly, and it's basically the go-to spot for families. There's lifeguards, bathrooms, volleyball courts, so it's just the perfect place to have a beach day. It's also a great spot if you're learning how to surf, because the waves are usually pretty mellow over here. And I love how wide open the sand is in Carlsbad, but just like every other beach in San Diego, it gets pretty busy during the summer. Now it's nothing like you'll get down in Mission Beach or Pacific Beach, but the village is definitely becoming a big tourist destination. People love checking out all the local shops, restaurants, coffee spots, and everything's within walking distance, so you don't even need a car to get around. Now, if you want to live where all the action's at, then I'd probably recommend looking into Carlsbad Village. Now, the thing is, there's usually not a lot of detached homes that go for sale around here, but if you're open to a townhouse, there's a bunch of new buildings popping up. They're all super modern and they have their own parking spots, because parking can be a bit tricky around here, so it's pretty important. And some of the buildings have different amenities like rooftop decks, pools, or sometimes they'll even have a gym. But let's say you want to escape all the summer chaos and you decide to live on the outskirts of Carlsbad, well, the beach is still only a 10 to 15 minute drive. So you're not going to be able to walk there every day, but the trade-off is you're usually getting a bigger house and more privacy out here. Alright, so La Costa is only a few minutes away from the coast, but this is probably my favorite part of town. It's just way more laid back, there's way less traffic, and you've got these big rolling hills all around you. So it's just a completely different lifestyle over here. There's lots of different hiking trails and outdoor activities all over La Costa, and one of my favorites is this trail overlooking the lagoon, and you get some of the best ocean views. Now, most of the houses around here are super unique, and there's also some different townhouses and condos, and we'll talk about the prices on those a little bit later. Also, the people that live in La Costa love being close to the Forum, which is basically just a higher end shopping plaza. There's places like Lululemon, Viore, Yoga 6, and the Henry just opened, and it's one of my favorite places to grab dinner right now. Okay, so another neighborhood that I'm recommending a lot is Bressi Ranch, and this one's more for my clients that are looking for convenience. So there's everything from homes to parks to the shopping, and it's all within walking distance. Everything's perfectly manicured around here, the streets are super clean, and it kind of feels like its own little town. There's also 8 different parks in Bressi Ranch, and there's this really nice clubhouse and pool that all the residents get access to. But the biggest perk is going to be their village. So there's a Trader Joe's, a Sprouts, Bird Rock Coffee, different fitness studios, and if you're a busy family, you're going to save lots of time by living here. They also have different events throughout the year, and there's always kids out riding their bikes or people walking their dogs, so it's just a great place to meet new people. Hey guys, if you could just real quick hit that like button and make sure you subscribe, it really helps the channel grow and I can make more videos just like this one. Alright, now I gotta say that a lot of families end up asking me about Carlsbad because they have one of the best public school districts in San Diego. So there's 9 different elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 2 high schools, and they all have either an A or A+ rating. So I'm definitely not surprised that families want to move here specifically for the schools. But it's super important that you find out which school district your neighborhood falls into, because it might actually be zoned for a different district like San Marcos Unified or even San Diego. So if you want your kids to go to a specific school in Carlsbad, then you absolutely need to check this. But if you ever need some extra help with this, just let me know and I can get you all the information. Alright, now let's talk a little bit about the value you get in Carlsbad. So if you compare it to places like Carmel Valley or Encinitas, you'll see that you get way more house for your money, and prices in other areas are 20 to 30% higher. But just because it's cheaper, it doesn't mean you're missing out on something. Now technically they might have a better school district or just more amenities, but other than that, I'd say Carlsbad has a pretty similar lifestyle. So unless you're absolutely set on one of the more expensive areas, but even at that point, I'd still recommend you at least look into Carlsbad. I actually had a client who really wanted to buy a house in Encinitas, but after I showed him some neighborhoods in Carlsbad, he completely changed his mind. He just couldn't justify paying more for a similar house in Encinitas, and having a shorter commute just wasn't worth the higher price tag. So he ended up paying about $1.8 million for his house, and that same house in Encinitas would have been around $2.1 million or maybe even more. Now, what I love about Carlsbad is that you can get a starter townhouse or condo for around 7 to 800,000, so there's still some opportunities for first-time buyers out here. But if you're looking at a detached house, then plan on paying at least 1.3 million for one of those. Now, of course, there's other areas in San Diego that are cheaper, but usually they're further inland, so you're not getting that coastal lifestyle. So it basically comes down to what you're looking for and what your budget is, and maybe another area might actually make more sense for you. And it can definitely be a lot trying to figure this all out on your own, especially if you don't know San Diego, so feel free to reach out with any questions. Alright, so there's been quite a few new construction homes popping up in Carlsbad because there's just a lot more open space around here. And if you look at some of the more coastal cities, they're basically all built out at this point. So if you're absolutely set on getting a brand new house, then you'll have some more options here. Just know that most of these new townhomes are starting at least $1 million, and new detached homes are going to be 2 million plus. But there's also neighborhoods like Robertson Ranch, which technically isn't a brand new community, but it's only a few years old at this point. And just like Bressi Ranch, this is a very tight-knit community. But the biggest difference is that they don't have a village, so you can't really walk to do any shopping. But I don't think it's really a huge deal breaker because you're only a few minutes away from the Forum, Costco, La Costa Town Square, so everything's still super close. Now, most of these were built between 2016 and 2019, and they're anywhere from 3 to 4,000 square feet. But most of the lot sizes aren't big around here, so if you're looking for a bigger backyard, then La Costa's probably going to be your best bet. Alright, so I think it's pretty obvious that Carlsbad's absolutely amazing, but what's it going to cost to live here? Well, like I mentioned earlier, there's some condos and townhomes in the $700,000 to $800,000 range, but the median price for one of these is $950,000, and all of them have a monthly HOA fee, so make sure you add an extra $400 to $600 a month for that. Also, some of the newer communities have a Melrose tax, which is basically an additional property tax. Now, it's not every neighborhood, but just make sure you look into it. Or if you have any questions on a specific house in San Diego, I can always check it out for you. Now, for a detached house, you can find some that are priced around 1.3 to 1.4 million, but the median price in Carlsbad is actually around 2 million. And some of these also have an HOA fee and Melrose, but usually they're way lower than with condos and townhomes. But we're definitely seeing homes stay on the market longer in Carlsbad just because it is at a higher price point, so there's actually some more opportunity for negotiations right now. And sometimes I'll see sellers accept offers under the asking price, or they're giving out credits for closing costs. So buyers have a lot more leverage right now. And if you're trying to find a really good deal, well then maybe look into houses that have been on the market for 30 plus days. This is right around the time when sellers start to get nervous, and they'll probably accept any reasonable offer you make. But here's the thing, if the house is priced right and it shows well, it's gonna sell within the first couple of weeks. And that means if you like a house and you think it's the one, then don't wait too long before making an offer. And try not to assume that every house is gonna sit on the market, because there's still some multiple offer situations happening right now. Alright, now who do I think Carlsbad's for? Well, I usually recommend it to any of my clients that have families, or maybe a young couple that's looking to start a family. It's safe, there's tons of parks and sports leagues, and like I mentioned before, they have some of the best schools in San Diego. But if you're single, or if you're looking for some kind of nightlife, well, there's really not a lot of options here. So you're actually gonna be better off looking at somewhere like Encinitas. Also, it depends quite a bit on your daily commute. So if you're driving to downtown every day, then Carlsbad's honestly a bit out of the way. Now, I don't think it's an absolute deal breaker. Just know that you're gonna spend some more time on the road. But there's also a lot of tech and biotech companies based in Carlsbad. So if you're lucky enough to live where you work, then it's gonna be absolutely perfect for you. Alright guys, hopefully you got a lot of information out of this video, but if you have any questions about Carlsbad, or if you need any help, just give me a call or send me a text. Or if you're thinking of buying or selling a home in any other part of San Diego, then I can help with that too. And even if you're not making a move right away, still make sure you reach out. That way when you're ready, everything will be super easy. Also make sure you watch some of my other videos, or maybe just watch this one right up here. They're all super helpful and they're packed with a ton of information. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.